Hello, welcome to Life Matters. I'm your host, Brendan O'Connell. Well, today we have another longtime veteran of the pro-life wars and the abortion wars, I guess I should say, here across America. She's from the state of Michigan, where she's calling in from today to be on the show, and we greatly appreciate it. She's a professor, an associate professor of religious studies at Madonna University, and she's written books, and she's been there in the battle, in the trenches for many years and even decades. And we welcome Dr. Monica Miller.
Hi, Brendan. Nice to be with you.
Dr. Miller, can you give us a little sense of how long you've been involved, or how did you ever get involved in this whole issue of the...
Well, actually, it is something I do talk about in my book. I was just 23 years old when I first was introduced to the pro-life movement, and this was back in 1976. So people can start now. I know people are doing the math now, right? How old am I? But 1976, I was 23. So I really can say that I have spent the majority of my adult life down in the trenches of the pro-life battle. And in 1986, I founded the activist pro-life group Citizens for a Pro-Life Society. And we've been extremely busy. In some ways, unfortunately, legalized abortion keeps you busy. If you're, interested in doing something about the injustice of abortion, there's never a dull moment.
Well, what sort of things have you done? For instance, what does your group do? Are they mostly in Michigan, or are they?
Oh, we do local. We're locally active and nationally active. On the national scale, for example, we will be coming up on September 13th, and so your audience can mark their calendars. September 13th will be the second National Day of Remembrance for Aborted Babies. Mm-hmm. The first one was last year, and this is a nationwide event. There will be memorial services at every grave site and memorial marker for unborn babies killed by abortion. Mm-hmm. And last year we had over 100 of these ceremonies that took place on the same day, at the same time. We had a number of bishops participating with us, a lot of clergy, including Protestant clergy, and we'll be doing it again on September 13th. So this is a very big event for us. I do it in conjunction with Priests for Life and the Pro-Life Action League. And as a matter of fact, we're still in the recruitment phase, Brendan, of this effort for this year. We need captains to step forward and say, I will organize a ceremony, a memorial service at a grave in my town. And we have a beautiful website, so people can go to the website and they can locate exactly where in the United States there are graves of aborted babies where they're buried, and that is abortion memorials, that would be plural, abortionmemorials.com. And there's a page on that website where people can sign up and say, I'm going to adopt this particular grave site or this particular memorial marker, and I will organize a ceremony that will take place then on September 13th.
Mm-hmm. I see. And what sort of other things have you done in Michigan?
Well, our group is, we're an activist group, and that means we go out to abortion clinics and we actually try to save babies from abortion. Mm-hmm. And I got involved very early. Again, this is something I talk about in my book, but I was on the ground floor, Brendan, so to speak, of the rescue movement. Mm-hmm. I talk about the very first time that I actually participated in a rescue at an abortion clinic in Chicago, and that was back in 1978. I was 24 years old, and just shy of my 25th birthday. And what it meant for us to actually sit down in front of the door of the abortion chambers and defend unborn children from abortion. And so this was a full 10 years before the Operation Rescue even got started, because that was in 1988.
Wow.
And so spending a lot of time defending the lives of the unborn. I've spent countless hours sidewalk counseling outside of abortion clinics, training other people to do sidewalk counseling. We have had countless, again, use that word, demonstrations, pickets of all kinds, public demonstrations, seminars, conferences that we have done, literature distributions that we have done. And one of the things that I guess I really could say that I'm maybe one of 50 people in the entire world that has had the experience of retrieving the actual bodies of innocent unborn children from the trash dumpsters behind abortion clinics.
Wow.
And most recently, we did that in the year 2008. I was involved in another retrieval, actually a little more recently, was in the year 2010, and that was here in Michigan. And so a lot of our work was the photography of these victims. We trained ourselves to do the photography. Back in the day, it was 35 millimeter film, and now, of course, we have the digital cameras that we use. But people can go to our website, which is imagesofabortion.com. Images of Abortion, all one word, imagesofabortion.com. And we have a number of galleries mounted. I think some of the most spectacular and, of course, disturbing, but on the other hand, really spectacular photography of the victims of abortion from our own abortion Holocaust in the United States of America. These are the real victims that were taken out of trash dumpsters, ranging from the ages of 6 weeks all the way to 7 months, gestational age, and so that was took actually quite a lot of our time. So among the rescues at the clinics and the pickets and the seminars and we've closed abortion clinics as a consequence of our pro-life activism. In fact, here in Michigan, very recently, within the last 18 months, we kept, this was a very major project for us, Citizens for a Pro-Life Society kept a Planned Parenthood mega mill from opening in a suburb of Detroit called Auburn Hills. And we were able to actually stop that clinic from opening. It's kind of a very long story, but it really was God's providence. I'm telling you, it was everything just worked out that we were able to keep and Planned Parenthood still owns the building that they bought to set up their abortion clinic, and they haven't been able to sell it yet. Thank God. I'm hoping they never sell it, but they still own a building that they had hoped to put set up an abortion clinic, and we were able to prevent them from opening. 2 other clinics in Michigan, we were able to shut down 2 other clinics, and those would be the Women's Choice clinics, one of them located in Lansing, Michigan, and the other one in Saginaw, Michigan. They were sister clinics, and that's because of the babies that were found in the trash, the biohazard waste, the medical records, the patient medical records that we found, all against the law. And your friend, by the way, the Attorney General of Michigan, Bill Schuette,
yes,
cooperated with us in the closing of those 2 particular abortion clinics. And that's something, by the way, that he's very proud of. He even featured it on the Attorney General's website. So he was very, very proud of his involvement in the closing of those 2 clinics.
Well, that's fantastic.
So we've been very busy.
I should say you really have. And now, I know you have a video that we actually had last week. I think we played a portion of that video of an abortion worker in New Jersey, a clinic worker who videotaped her own abortion. And perhaps we can get that up on the screen and play that. We'll play about a minute of it.
I just want to share my story. Hi.
This is Monica Migliorino Miller, and I'm the director of Citizens for a Pro-Life Society. And yeah, we're against abortion. The person who's talking to you right now has actually taken the broken bodies of innocent unborn children out of trash dumpsters. Where is the unborn child in your video? I mean, you're saying that this is a video of your abortion. Well, where was the abortion? This was not a video about your abortion or anybody's abortion. Abortion is the dismemberment of an innocent human being, and that character, that person, was completely absent and completely invisible in your video.
So anyways, that's just a beginning of a 10-minute rebuttal. What was it that you were trying to get across throughout that entire rebuttal?
Well, actually, that's a very good question, Brendan. I felt very strongly that some pro-life leader somewhere, and I guess it had to be me, needed to seize the opportunity to, in a sense, I guess you could say, exploit the opportunity regarding the Emily's abortion video. That's what she calls her thing, Emily's abortion video. And to use that opportunity to actually educate people through a rebuttal on the truth regarding the injustice of abortion. Mm-hmm. And so we put together, I think, a very engaging rebuttal. There's lots to look at. It's not just me talking, so it's not just a talking head or somebody sitting in a chair and lecturing, but we have a lot of images that we've embedded into the video. And frankly, if you watch our video, which is entitled Emily's Abortion Video, The Rebuttal, it's up on YouTube, you'll get a very good idea of what her video was all about, because we have a lot of images of her video in our video as I am rebutting, as we go through her abortion video. I stop her video and I say, well, what about that? And why didn't you have this? And why is somebody holding your hand while you're killing your kid? And well, why do you have music in your video, but there are no sounds of a suction machine? So we felt it was a good opportunity to promote the truth about abortion, and I just encourage people to take a look at what we did, and we welcome feedback about our rebuttal, and people can certainly post a link of our rebuttal up on their Facebook pages. That's a great way to get to spread the truth about abortion, and it's within 10 minutes we did a full rebuttal of the Emily Letts abortion video, and like I said, this is an opportunity to promote the truth about abortion. And actually, in some ways, Brendan, our rebuttal video is a kind of mini primer on the subject of abortion itself. It really, even despite or regardless of her video, ours has kind of a life of its own, a value of its own, and I hope it will do a lot of good in light of her trying to promote the idea that there is such a thing, as she says, as a positive abortion story. Well, there was no positive abortion story for the baby that she aborted, and that's something that we wanted to point out.
Mm-hmm. I see. And have you had any feedback regarding your rebuttal video on YouTube?
Yeah, it's been actually pretty positive. If I had to say there was any particular minor criticism, and I really think that this is a good point. Well, but we didn't really have that much. It was already 10 minutes. You don't want to go. You don't want to go any. It's a YouTube video. People don't. Their attention spans are not that long. But the mentioning that there was a father that was involved in the making of this baby, and what was his involvement? What rights did he have regarding Emily's abortion decision? And so some people have pointed that out, that we should have maybe had said something about the fact that there was also a dad. There's not just the mom, but there's the dad involved in the making of a baby, and and also a lot of times in the abortion. Sadly, in the abortion decision.
Right.
So but people, it's up there now, and people can go and take a look at it, and as I said, post it on Facebook pages and whatever, and we're hoping that people will take a look at it.
Dr. Miller, regarding, I think Father Pavone has said that when people see the images of abortion,
right,
they become pro-life.
Yeah, when people see abortion, then abortion will end.
Yeah, and do you feel the same way?
Oh, very strongly.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Have you seen many convert when they do see those types of pictures?
Yes, I have. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen people on the street change their minds about abortion as a consequence of the demonstrations that we have done. I've talked many women out of abortions with the literature that we give to them when they're going into an abortion clinic. When they see the baby, an aborted baby at 8 weeks or 10 weeks, it makes a huge impression on the mom who is scheduled for an abortion right there and then. I would never do sidewalk counseling without at least having images of abortion in my literature that I would give to the woman. Actually, I have given this subject, Brendan, an enormous amount of thought, and I have right on our website right now. If you just go on the website and you kind of scroll down on the home page a little bit, I have an entire critique of what makes a good, effective image of abortion. What photographs are the best photographs to use? I've really given this matter an enormous amount of thought. This year I had, actually I think it was last year, last September, I had an article, actually it's about the only article that really is a full critique, a full comprehensive view on the history and the use of abortion victim photography in pro-life work. And there's a link to that article. It was published by New Oxford Review, and there's a link to the article on our website, so people can take a look at what am I thinking about? What are the arguments? What is the perspective we should be having? What role do these images play in our efforts to bring an end to legalized abortion? So yeah, I do feel pretty strongly. I think unborn children have a right to be seen. Our whole culture conspires to keep the unborn child and the victims of abortion. Our culture conspires to keep them hidden, to pretend like they're not there, to pretend that they don't exist. And that is a huge lie. And I believe that when you have 56 million innocent human lives wiped off the face of the planet under a law that says they're non-persons, those babies have a right to be seen, and they have a right to be acknowledged for who they were as human beings who lived once upon a time and were violently put to death. So that's kind of my little spiel about that, I guess.
Well, now let's move on to you have a book called Abandoned, The Untold Story of the Abortion Wars, and to St. Benedict Press. What's the abortion all about?
Abandoned, The Untold Story of the Abortion Wars is a nonfiction, of course, historical narrative of 19 years of pro-life activism from the year 1976 through the year 1995. And this is one of the very few, in fact, it may so far be the only real history of the pro-life movement that is written from somebody who has lived and experienced that movement. And so the book is a chronicle of pro-life activism. The book essentially is focused on three aspects of pro-life work. One is the sidewalk counseling, the women that we met, the women that we turned away from clinics, the women that unfortunately didn't listen to us and went ahead and had their abortions. The days of the pro-life rescue movement is all committed to writing. I mean, this is very important that we preserve, Brendan, the pro-life effort. To me, the analogy that I use here is like this. Let's say we were living back in 1860 or 1850, 1860, and you were an abolitionist. You were fighting for the rights of the slaves to be free. What a great impoverishment it would be if the only history of that movement to free the slaves was written by people who believed in slavery, right?
Right.
The people who were involved in the freeing of the slaves wrote their own memoirs, so to speak, wrote their own histories of what it meant for them to do the work that they did. And so this is a historical record. And we're already 41 years. Actually, you could say even more than that. Abortion's been around because a lot of states were already removing protections from the unborn child prior to 1973, in the mid-60s and the late 60s and so on. So that my book really wants to capture an historical moment and preserve what it means for us as pro-lifers to do the work that we did. So we talk about the rescues, what it meant for us to go to court, what it meant for us to go to jail, our jail experiences, and then overlapping with all of that was the finding of the aborted babies in the trash dumpsters behind these clinics, and what it meant for us to photograph them at the burials that we organized for these babies. And so that's all been committed to writing in the book Abandoned, the Untold Story of the Abortion Wars. And I got to give a lot of credit to my publisher, St. Benedict Press, because they really had the guts to publish this book. A lot of publishers didn't want it published. It was too hard, too graphic, too emotionally intense. I mean, you should see what the kind of rejection letters I was getting. But this is the truth. I mean, how do you talk about a slaughter of a whole people group? And this is I got to admit, it's not a musical comedy. This is reality, and this book has the power. I really truly believe it, and people have told me the book has changed their lives. People tell me, Brendan, that they read my book in one day, even though it's not that short of a book. They can't put it down, and so people want to get a copy of it. They can just go to Google, do a Google, search for St. Benedict Press, just the whole, write the whole thing out or whatever, and they can get it through St. Benedict Press. Of course, it's up on Amazon.com as well. So it's hasn't been out that long. It's been out about a year and a half, and like I said, it's just about the only book so far. There's going to be a couple of other histories that are coming up, though. I know of other pro-lifers that are writing histories, but it's one of the few that's out there now on the pro-life movement and what it meant for us to do the work that we did.
And Dr. Miller, we're getting towards the end of our show. What would you like to see in the near term as far as advancements in the pro-life effort?
Oh my gosh! Well, I think it's important for the church to continually strengthen its resolve to overcome the culture of death. I think it's important for Christians, Catholics, bishops, priests, everyone to speak out boldly and not to be afraid, to not hold back, to not be embarrassed, to not be afraid to speak the truth and to do the hard work. I mean, to overcome abortion requires sacrifice. And people just need to realize that. We can't, I hate to say it, but in some ways we've learned to live with abortion. And that's a tragedy all to itself. And so I'd like to see that, more, a bolder, more vigorous response to the culture of death. I want to see, the political front get pro-life candidates out there. They need to be supported. They need to be voted into office and passing pro-life legislation, whether it's on the local, state level, in Congress, and again, that's a whole important piece of work all by itself. So those would be some of the things I'd like to see. The improvement and people not to be afraid to get involved.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Miller, for being on the show today. Your perspective is unique and informative, content-rich and truthful and thought-provoking. And we hope that you found her remarks interesting and that you purchase her book, Abandoned. It's at St. Benedict Press. Well, thank you very much for watching today. We'll see you next week. I'm Brendan O'Connell. your friend for life. Hello, welcome to Life Matters. I'm your host, Brendan O'Connell. Well, today's guest is a mother of 4 children and founder and director of Northern Ireland's leading pro-life group. In 1997, she founded Precious Life after viewing a picture of a baby killed by abortion. Well, welcome, Mrs. Bernadette Smith.
Thank you, Brendan. I'm delighted to speak to you from Ireland. As a voice for the unborn child, and I know many of the listeners will be in agreement that this is a worldwide struggle and we have to unite, and I'm here to tell you about the threat to Ireland to legalise abortion.
Bernadette, can you give us a little bit of the history between Ireland, England, Northern Ireland? What's gone on and what are some significant... Hello, welcome to Life Matters. I'm your host, Brendan O'Connell. Well, one of the true icons of the pro-life movement, Miss Nellie Gray, passed away in 2012. And they searched around for someone who could fill her shoes, and we think we found that person. Her name is Jeannie Monahan. Well, welcome, Jeannie.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Jeannie, could you please speak first to the legacy that Nellie Gray left regarding the Right to Life movement and the March for Life, which is really an enormous event down in Washington, D.C.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, on that, just on your final note there, the March for Life is the largest pro-life event in the world that we know of, and we think it's the largest civil rights.
Well, welcome, Lila Rose.
Thanks, Brendan, for having me on.
Lila, today we were going to look at the issue, and it's been spoken about on this show somewhat, but it has to do with sex selection. How did this come up or come onto your radar screen, sex selection? What is sex selection for our audience, and could you delve into that a little bit?
Absolutely. Well, right now we're missing over 100 million little girls in the world today, in countries all over the world, which has led to huge gender imbalances.